Thank you, Mr. President. Yesterday evening, I had the opportunity to invite 100,000 of our fellow Tennesseans to join me in a telephone town hall. Now, we have found that this is something that Tennesseans love. Instead of having to drive to a location, they are able to just pick up the phone, and as they're doing homework with children or preparing dinner, they're able to jump on the phone and talk about issues that are important to them. And we covered a wide range of topics yesterday evening. We talked about nuclear power and gun rights and health care for our veterans. We even talked a little bit about an invasive fish species, Asian carp, and how that is affecting our beautiful rivers. There was one thing that continued to come out through the course of this telephone town hall, and I bet you can guess what that topic was that people continued to talk about. Now, bear in mind that Tennesseans are by and large very dismissive of what I call the DC's shiny object story of the day. Tennesseans are much more interested in the story of their lives. But yesterday's news, that breathless race to make news, really had Tennesseans talking. Yesterday, House Democrats, supported by their friends in the Senate, gathered to announce their intention to begin formal impeachment inquiries against President Donald Trump. Now, as you can imagine, this struck a chord with my fellow Tennesseans. They may be far outside the Beltway bubble, but they've been keeping a close eye on what the Democrats have been up to for the past 3 years when it comes to President Donald Trump. And let me tell you, they're not very impressed with what's been happening. From their perspective, yesterday's announcement was the culmination of a 3-year witch hunt born of a grudge they've been holding against the president since their chosen candidate failed to win the 2016 election. In December 2016, before the president had taken his oath of office, now bear in mind he was president-elect at that time. In December of 2016, Vanity Fair published an article entitled, "Democrats are Paving the Way to Impeach Donald Trump." Believe it or not, this was not just clickbait. This was a published article in a major magazine in December 2016. The article details a bill that Senate Democrats wanted to use to exploit allegations of conflicts of interest between President-elect Trump's business dealings and President Trump's duties as president. Bear in mind, the bill was tailor-made to transform conflict allegations into impeachable crimes. And bear in mind, this was conceived before President Trump became President Trump. He was still president-elect. He had not been sworn into office. And they were already writing legislation that would move to impeachment. It was the beginning of their mission toward impeachment, even if they had to fabricate the means to get there. And let me tell you, they were determined to make it happen. The proof is in black and white. In 2017, a group of House Democrats failed to muster enough political will within their own party to support a resolution to impeach President Trump. The same effort failed again in 2018, and it failed again in 2019. Their efforts to use the Mueller report to whip the nation into an impeachment frenzy, it failed. how frustrating that must have been for a party and a movement that all but promised they'd find a way to impeach the president because they absolutely could not believe he won that election in 2016. It's important to remember and to note the American people chose President Trump and not the Democratic candidate, but that didn't matter. Democrats vowed to take him down anyway. They were going to make him pay a very heavy price by making him the victim of a campaign of personal destruction. And now, conveniently, a year before the election, here they go again. And they're indicating that they think they have cracked the case. In November 2018, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi gave a statement to the Associated Press saying, and I quote, "We shouldn't impeach the president for political reasons, and we shouldn't not impeach the president for political reasons," end quote. Well, let me tell you, for the West Tennesseans participating in that telephone town hall I mentioned earlier, it was painfully obvious that congressional Democrats had finally given up and embraced politics as usual. They see this for what it is: vitriol, anger, jealousy, spite. They know that President Trump and a Republican-led House and Senate delivered much-needed tax and regulatory relief, which was exactly what the American people wanted and precisely what Tennesseans were telling us. Get government off our back. Get government off our land. Get government out of our pocketbooks. You know, Mr. President, we are a nation built on the rule of law and a nation that believes in adhering to that law. Tennesseans and the American people want fairness, they want equal treatment, they want justice, and they know injustice when they see it. What they do not want is a breathless revenge scheme orchestrated by a political party. I yield the floor and note the absence of a quorum.
The clerk will